Hi everyone, it's Emma from Baby Sleep Expert, and I'm jumping in and making this video for you today because I wanted to help you understand and know what to do in the nap transition that occurs between about 6 and 8 months. So I'm going to help you with this nap transition. We're talking about the third nap for the day. So it's the nap when the transition when they're dropping down sort of 3 naps to 2 naps. And the first nap that will go is that nap that occurs usually between about 4 to 5 p.m. in the afternoon. And it's really just a bit of a tricky time. Any nap transition can be a bit of a tricky time, and it's just nice to know what are the signs, what are the tips and tricks, and what you need to look out for. So I guess the first sign that I most often see in babies is, say for example, they've been having a nap at about 4:30. They just don't look tired. Like you think, oh my goodness, how is my baby even going to go to sleep now? They just are not tired. Their bodies are growing. They're becoming more developmentally ready to not need that third nap anymore. So that's one of the first things. You think, how on earth are you going to go to sleep? Or you put them down for a sleep and they kind of fight sleep for quite a long time. So instead of it being an easy nap to achieve, it becomes a really hard nap to achieve. So it might take them 20 minutes to get to sleep, and then you're thinking, oh, I know I've got to get them up by about 5 because otherwise that's going to throw the rest of my evening out. Or the other thing is you might put them down, but they're only sleeping for about 10 minutes. And that's because their body genuinely only needs that little power nap. Okay, so that's completely normal. One thing I always do get you to check during this time that's going to help you with this transition if they're not having that nap is make sure that the biggest nap of the day is in the middle of the day. You can imagine if your baby has a really big 2 hour, an hour and a half sleep in the morning, they're not going to be really tired enough to have that big restorative nap in the middle of the day, which you know I love. So say they then only can achieve 40 minutes after lunch, sort of after lunchtime, then that's a really long time for them to have to stay awake before they go to bed. So tip number 1 in this time is make sure that their biggest nap is in the middle of the day. We want that big, deep restorative sleep there, and that'll help the transition. I also really get you to go and read them day by day. So any nap transition is never kind of as simple as, right, I'll just cut out the nap and that's done then. It doesn't really work like that. There's going to be a period of about a month, sometimes up to 6 weeks even, where one day you're going to look at your baby and think, you know what, you had a slightly shorter afternoon nap. I can see that you're tired. I'll just give you 10 minutes sleep. Or then 2 days they might not need it, and then the next day after that they might need it. So it really is a matter of just reading your baby on that particular day and assessing whether you think they need a nap at all. Certainly it's very common for mums to notice that if they do have half an hour nap, then bedtime is getting out later and later. Okay, and this is my other real sign that a baby is ready to drop the nap. If they're having half an hour or 45 minutes somewhere in that bracket, but they're not really being able to go to sleep by about 6:30 or 6:45 at the latest, you definitely want to cut out that nap or massively reduce it to reinstate the early bedtime. The sleep that they're getting from 6:30 p.m. till 7:30 is much deeper restorative sleep, much better quality sleep than any sleep that they would be getting between 4 and 5 in the afternoon. So yeah, as soon as bedtime starts creeping out, cut out the nap and reinstate the early bedtime. That's for sure. Like I said, just go with the flow. It happens somewhere between 6 and 8 months. Somewhere on that continuum this will happen. Some babies are early birds and 6 months they're done. Others are later and at 8 months they're still really needing that nap. I do generally find that 95% of the time, I would say, if a baby is towards the end of 8 months, I tend to cut out the nap anyway, because I do find by that stage bedtime is creeping later and later. So I would generally think about cutting it out if they are at the end of 8 months, that's for sure. All right, guys, I hope that helps. It is always a little bit of a weird time dropping a nap. They drop it, but they're cranky later because they're not quite used to it. So my final big tip is always remember you've got an early bedtime. You can put your baby to bed at that age as early as 6 p.m. if you need to. just while this nap transition's going on. If they haven't had it, they're going to need it, and that's going to stop them getting overtired. And we know that overtiredness, you know, creates many overnight wake ups and early morning waking and stuff like that. So just reinstate the early bedtime, and don't be afraid to use that to help your baby during this transition. I hope that helps. I hope it makes it more clearer for you. Any, you know, questions, comments, whatever you need to know, reach out and I'm happy to answer them for you. Okay, take care.